Here's a startling statistic. According to a new study by Insight Global, online searches for "Will I lose my job in a recession?" are up nearly 10,000% year to year. In this segment, we're ready to talk a little bit more about how to overcome layoff anxiety and create your own future. Our great friend of the show, Dan Mason, is a nationally recognized career and life reinvention expert, ready to share his insights. Dan, it's awesome to see you.
Always good to see you, Jess. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, our pleasure. This is such a timely and important conversation because how quickly things change. Employees or workers seem to be writing their own ticket for about 2 years in terms of the workforce, and now it's flipped, and we have all of this anxiety with this potential recession. The talk of the recession looming. How quickly things change.
Yeah, absolutely. 80% of people say that they are uncertain and they're feeling anxious about layoffs and an impending recession. But here's the thing that I want to reset the conversation on today. Most people that I work with, and even through having a 20-year corporate career myself, people aren't necessarily worried about the layoff. The real cause of anxiety is you're worried about what a layoff means about you. Does it mean that you're not valued, that you're easily disposable? You're worried about what other people will think about you if you got laid off? What will your family or your friends think? You're worried about, if I'm disposable and I'm not valuable, will I be able to find another job? So that's not the most powerful place to work from. Mm-hmm. We want to refocus and reset your energy and not use all this tremendous creative power that you have to create worst possible scenarios. A wonderful question to ask is, in the event of a layoff, could this actually be permission from the universe for me to create something better? I got let go from a corporate job in 2015, but it was actually the gateway that allowed me to reinvent my life, build an international coaching practice, launch a #1 podcast, and be able to spend my mornings talking to friends like you. So when you know that life is always happening for you, you can start to reframe and say, what would I like to create, rather than react from a place of fear and anxiety.
Well, that's a mega recalibration to be able to go from 0 to 60 on that. So I know you've got insight that you share on starting that journey, and maybe it is just recognizing that it could be a gift from the universe and accepting it in that way.
Yeah, it rarely feels like that in the moment. And we're certainly not Pollyanna here. We're not saying that you just positive think your way through it, but there's a bigger conversation that we need to have between money and wealth. Money, at the end of the day, it's just a piece of paper, right? It's a symbol. It's a currency that we invented to trade for things of value. And so many people get caught up in chasing and accumulating money. They never actually build a life that feels wealthy. Wealth is a state of awareness. Wealth is what happens when you're connected to your purpose. Wealth is what happens when you are connected to yourself and you're unlocking really your highest level of creativity to help solve problems for other people. And when you're connected to your wealth, money is a natural byproduct of that. Think of Oprah Winfrey, for instance. If Oprah lost everything in a stock market crash, would Oprah be poor? Not really, because she's connected to her unique gifts. She's an amazing storyteller. She has tremendous empathy and compassion and can create content to lift people up. So a good thing to start to really get clear on for you, if you want to plan a pivot or you want to be prepared for the future, is what are those things about me? What are the things that make me wealthy? What is the value that I can offer to the world that literally nobody else can? And when you're operating in that zone of genius, money will come to you in ways that you never imagined.
Well, it's funny because when you said what does the layoff really, what are you really worried about? And I thought you were going to say it's money. It's not necessarily not going into that job every day, but it's the money component. But of course it was, what does it say about you? We're so tethered to that money versus the wealth and what that offers. But I like this idea of the pivot plan. I know we're going back to that word of pivoting. What are some of the things that we can do now to maybe calibrate and reframe so that should it happen or should you make the choice to make that change, you're ready for it?
Well, the best time to have the map is before you enter the woods. So here are 3 steps that you can take right now to plan ahead. Number 1, know your numbers. What is the minimum amount of money that you need each month to pay your bills and to make everything work? It's probably a little less than you think, quite honestly. Then number 2, from that idea of wealth, let's create a purpose-driven wealth plan. What are those things that you can use within yourself, the knowledge, the wisdom, the gifts that you have that can start generating money in the meantime, whether that's working for yourself and going freelance or maybe taking a job within an existing corporation. And number 3, super important, your net worth is in your network, meaning that now is a great time to start reaching out to recruiters, start talking to your friends. If you feel the layoff grim reaper is walking down the hallways of your business and you might be at risk, now is a wonderful time to start reaching out, making connections, and asking for help. And of course, the people in your life will want to help you create your next level of greatness.
Dan, some incredible insights, and working with wrapping your arms around taking the control you can over this scenario gives us a lot of peace of mind. It's great talking with you.
Always good to talk to you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.